Superman's influence on media is unmatched. Introduced in Action Comics #1 in 1938, he set the blueprint for what it means to be a superhero. His powerful physique, altruism, and moral integrity became the foundation for countless heroes to follow. Over the decades, Superman has evolved, but his core values of truth, justice, and hope have remained intact. While many have imitated him, few have managed to replicate the same blend of nobility and sheer might that makes Superman unique. His influence is so far-reaching that many of his imitators became characters of their own, making his place in media history undeniable. Homelander. In the Boys universe, Homelander is what happens when Superman's immense power is left unchecked. Rather than being a symbol of hope, Homelander becomes a cautionary tale of what happens when that power is used selfishly. With a near-identical power set, flight, super strength, invulnerability, and laser vision, Homelander could have been a hero. Instead, he's cruel, egotistical, and sociopathically detached from humanity. Homelander was created in a laboratory, molded by cold government agents, making him emotionally unstable and deeply insecure. Homelander represents the antithesis of what Superman stands for, showing the terrifying potential of a super-powered being without a moral compass. The series grounds his portrayal, making him more than just a simple, evil Superman. He's a complex reflection of unchecked power in the modern world. But before we explain every Superman-like character, a real quick ask that if you're new to the channel or haven't subscribed yet, please take a second to hit that subscribe button now. It's one small click for you, but a huge deal for us. Thanks. Brandon, Brightburn. In the eerie, unsettling world of Brightburn, Brandon Breyer stands as a sinister reflection of Superman. Like Clark Kent, Brandon is an alien who crash-landed on Earth as a baby and was raised by human parents. However, their similarities end there. Brandon's story dives into the dark potential of unchecked power. As he discovers his superhuman abilities, Brandon doesn't choose the path of heroism, but instead succumbs to his darker instincts. What starts as a child learning to harness his powers quickly spirals into a tale of horror. Brandon uses his abilities to intimidate, harm, and eventually destroy, becoming a terrifying force of nature. His motivations are rooted in self-interest, and he embraces chaos rather than order. This bleak take on the superhero origin challenges the notion that great power automatically leads to great responsibility, positioning Brandon as a tragic, destructive figure in stark contrast to Superman. Invincible. Invincible turns the classic Superman narrative on its head, immersing viewers in the complicated world of growing up with immense power and the legacy of a superhero father. Mark Grayson, the teenage son of Omni-Man, inherits his father's incredible strength, flight, and invulnerability. But unlike Superman's clean-cut morality, Mark's story is set in a universe where heroes and villains often blur the lines. His signature blue and yellow suit might suggest traditional heroism, but Mark's journey is one of constant moral conflict. He grapples with the responsibilities that come with his newfound abilities, all while trying to live up to his father's legacy. The show doesn't shy away from brutal consequences, showing that heroism is not all glory. It's filled with pain, doubt, and harsh choices. In Invincible, Mark's struggles highlight the complex reality of living up to the idealistic image of a superhero, pushing past the boundaries of the usual Superman-like optimism into something far grittier and more real. Omni-Man, Invincible. Omni-Man is Invincible's answer to Superman, but with a dark twist that takes the familiar and turns it way upside down. Like Superman, Omni-Man hails from another planet, Viltrum, and shares similar superpowers, strength, invulnerability, and the ability to fly. At first glance, he seems like the perfect hero, protecting Earth alongside the Guardians of the Globe, much like Superman and the Justice League. However, the truth behind Omni-Man is far from the altruistic figure he pretends to be, sent to Earth not to save it, but to conquer it. Omni-Man's mission is to pave the way for the eventual domination by his race. His iconic red cape and white suit might mirror the Man of Steel's look with the purity of white, but his heart is far from heroic or pure. Yet despite his brutal mission, Omni-Man's character arc takes a complex turn as he begins to question his orders and eventually betrays his people, adding layers to his seemingly villainous persona. His mustache, while iconic, serves as a small reminder of just how far removed he is from Superman's shining image, signaling a more grounded, aggressive, and morally complex version of what happens when power corrupts. Hancock. In the movie Hancock, we see a very different take on the Superman archetype. Rather than donning a colorful costume and eagerly stepping into the role of a hero, Hancock is a man who shuns responsibility. His casual streetwear and careless attitude are the antithesis of the typical cape-wearing hero. Played by Will Smith, Hancock is a flawed, reluctant superhero with immense strength, invulnerability, and the ability to fly, similar to Superman. But where Superman embodies hope and goodness, Hancock struggles with personal demons and the weight of public perception. His journey is more about redemption than saving the world, and his transformation into a hero is one of self-acceptance. As Hancock learns to embrace his abilities and his role, he adopts a more traditional superhero look. But his story remains grounded in themes of identity, personal struggle, and redemption, making him a unique spin on the superhero archetype. Sentry. Often dubbed Marvel's Superman, Sentry stands as one of Marvel's most powerful yet mentally unstable characters. Robert Reynolds is introduced as a superhero grappling with immense power and fragile mental health, making him a complex figure within the archetype. With powers like super strength, flight, and energy manipulation, Sentry could rival Superman in raw ability. However, his psychological instability makes him a dangerous wildcard. Sentry's dual identity as a force for good and a potential menace adds depth to the Superman trope. His story isn't just about heroism, but about the consequences of immense power when coupled with inner turmoil. Hyperion. Hyperion is a lesser-known yet fascinating character in the Marvel Universe, often regarded as their version of Superman alongside Sentry. First introduced as a villain in Avengers number 69 as the leader of the Squadron Sinister, Hyperion hails from an alternate Earth with a nearly identical backstory to Superman. Like the Man of Steel, Hyperion possesses super strength, flight, and heat vision, but his character arc takes a very different direction. Rather than becoming the beacon of hope, Hyperion's journey is more cynical, reflecting the morally ambiguous world of Marvel Comics. His relationship with the Avengers is fraught with tension, and he often finds himself at odds with other heroes, standing as a more edgy and unpredictable version of Superman. Hyperion's narratives explore what happens when a godlike figure is forced to question the systems of power around him. He's a reflection of Superman in a darker, more complex world. Icarus. Icarus is one of the more powerful members of Marvel's Eternals. He bears a striking similarity to Superman. With abilities like flight, super strength, and energy projection, Icarus is Marvel's version of a godlike protector of humanity. His role as the leader of the Eternals, a race of immortal beings tasked with safeguarding Earth from the deviants, mirrors Superman's responsibility to protect humanity. However, Icarus' story adds a layer of cosmic grandeur that Superman's more terrestrial origins lack. In the Eternals film and comics, Icarus is portrayed as a figure driven by his duty to protect, even when it means going against the wishes of his fellow Eternals. His struggle to maintain his connection to humanity while balancing the responsibilities of a near-immortal makes him a compelling counterpart to Superman. Ultimately, it's not just their powers that make them similar, but their shared determination to act as humanity's protector. Shazam. Shazam, formerly known as Captain Marvel, is one of the closest characters to Superman in terms of powers and ideals. Created in 1940 by Fawcett Comics, Shazam has a nearly identical power set to Superman: super strength, flight, and invulnerability. However, what sets him apart is his origin story. Shazam is not an alien, but a young boy named Billy Batson, who transforms into an adult superhero when he says the magic word Shazam, an acronym for Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, and Mercury. His childlike innocence, combined with his Superman-like powers, creates a fascinating dynamic, where Billy is still learning to navigate the complexities of heroism. But DC was not down with the similarities to Superman, so they sued in the 1960s. Marvel gained the Captain Marvel trademark and started publishing their own books. A few years later, DC licensed the character but had to refer to Captain Marvel as Shazam due to Marvel's ownership. Despite the name change, Shazam's charm lies in his youthful enthusiasm and the joy he finds in being a hero. Blue Marvel. Blue Marvel is one of Marvel's newer takes on the Superman archetype, debuting in Adam, Legend of the Blue Marvel in 2008. His powers, super strength, flight, invulnerability, and energy manipulation are reminiscent of Superman's, but his backstory sets him apart. Adam Brashear, the Blue Marvel, was a brilliant scientist whose powers were awakened after a negative reactor explosion. Blue Marvel's powers were a product of science, yet it's his experience as a black superhero in a racist world that adds a layer of complexity to his character. Forced to retire by a fearful US government due to the public's discomfort with a black man wielding such power, Blue Marvel's story is one of resilience and integrity. His ability to respond to hatred with maturity, despite the injustice he faces, makes him a rare figure in the superhero genre, standing as a symbol of grace under pressure. All Might. Anime fans will instantly recognize All Might from My Hero Academia, one of the most popular modern anime series. All Might is Japan's take on the American superhero archetype, and his connection to Superman is immediately clear. Like Superman, All Might is the symbol of peace and justice in his world, the strongest hero who inspires others with his unwavering courage. However, All Might's backstory sets him apart. Starting as a weak, scrawny young man, All Might inherits his powers from his predecessor, Nana Shimura, making his journey more akin to Captain America than Superman. Yet his larger-than-life persona, square-jawed appearance, and bright, hopeful attitude clearly echo Superman's influence. Though he eventually passes on his powers to the series' protagonist, his impact remains, and All Might serves as the beacon of hope for future generations, just as Superman does in his world. The Plutonian. Mark Waid's Irredeemable brings us the Plutonian, a Superman-esque figure who undergoes one of the most chilling transformations in comic book history. With all the powers of Superman, from strength to flight, the Plutonian starts off as the world's greatest hero. But unlike the hopeful, ever-righteous Superman, the Plutonian's story spirals into darkness. He grows to resent humanity, overwhelmed by their expectations and the crushing weight of being a flawless hero. Instead of saving the world, he decides to destroy it, embarking on a terrifying mission of mass murder and chaos. He turns from hero to villain in the most dramatic fashion, annihilating millions and plunging the planet into fear. Waid's vision of the Plutonian asks the daunting question, what happens when a hero as powerful as Superman loses faith in humanity? It's a story of power gone wrong, showing that even the most invincible beings can fall prey to their own inner demons, making him one of the darkest and more terrifying twists on the Superman archetype. Goku. Goku from the Dragon Ball series exemplifies a unique superhero narrative, one that focuses on the relentless pursuit of self-improvement. Much like Superman, Goku crash lands on Earth, is raised by a loving guardian, and uses his extraordinary abilities for the greater good. However, where Superman's powers are innate, Goku's strength is a result of years of intense training, discipline, and unwavering determination. His iconic orange and blue gi symbolize his martial arts mastery and his journey as an Earth-raised alien striving to protect the universe. Goku's adventures highlight his resilience, loyalty to family, and much like Superman, his focus on personal growth and transformation, evolving through various forms and consistently rising to face ever stronger adversaries. His story embodies the belief that true strength comes from within, a contrast to Superman's inherited powers. Although, at Goku's core, there lies something darker, the fact that he will do anything for a good fight. Apollo. Apollo, from Wildstorm's Stormwatch and The Authority, stands out as one of the first openly gay superheroes in comic book history, adding a significant layer of diversity to the superhero genre. Though his powers bear striking similarities to Superman's, deriving energy from Earth's sun, granting him abilities like flight, super strength, and heat vision, Apollo's character breaks new ground in representation. With his white hair and status as a superhero being powered by the sun, Apollo embodies the same physical strength and moral fortitude that Superman is known for, but with a more nuanced narrative, reflecting the evolving nature of the modern superhero storytelling. Apollo's story is also a testament of how comic books have expanded beyond traditional archetypes to embrace more inclusive narratives, offering a fresh take on the Superman-like figure. Mr. Majestic. Mr. Majestic, another Wildstorm creation, might seem like a blatant Superman clone at first glance. He hails from the planet Kara, flies, possesses super strength, and even has the iconic hair curl. However, Mr. Majestic's character differs significantly from the Man of Steel in his approach to heroism. Unlike Superman, who values compassion and diplomacy, Majestic is far more militant in nature. He's a no-nonsense figure who doesn't hesitate to use his powers aggressively and enforce justice with little regard for due process. He's not afraid to lock up villains without trial if it means protecting the greater good. This more pragmatic, sometimes harsh approach to heroism underscores the subtle but significant differences between him and Superman. While they share many superficial similarities, Mr. Majestic is a much more authoritarian figure, reflecting a harder, more uncompromising take on what it means to wield immense power responsibly. Black Adam. Black Adam and Superman are both prime examples of the flying brick superhero archetype, caped beings with immense strength, invulnerability, and the power of flight. Their battles in the DC Comics universe are legendary, often resulting in clashes of unmatched power. While Superman's powers are derived from the yellow sun, Black Adam's abilities come from a more mystical origin. The ancient Egyptian wizard Shazam granted Teth Adam his powers due to his moral purity. However, as the story goes, Adam's ethics eventually became corrupted, and he became banished. Though the narrative has evolved across different comics, one constant remains. Black Adam's powers are rooted in magic, which makes him a formidable adversary for Superman, whose vulnerability to magic levels the playing field in their confrontations. Each of Black Adam's powers draws from an ancient Egyptian god, giving him a mystique and strength that challenge even Superman's seemingly limitless abilities. Bizarro. Bizarro, originally created as an imperfect clone and foe of Superboy, remains one of Superman's most unique and enduring adversaries. His evolution since his debut in 1958 has seen him become a distorted mirror of the Man of Steel. Everything about Bizarro is an inversion of Superman, from his powers to his morality. Residing in the backward world of Hyperion, Earth spelled backwards, Bizarro possesses a freeze vision instead of heat vision, flame breath instead of cold breath, and sees short distances behind him rather than far distances ahead. His world operates on opposite rules, where bad is good and up is down. Even his vulnerability is the reverse of Superman's. While Superman is weakened by green kryptonite, Bizarro is vulnerable to blue kryptonite. The essence of Bizarro lies in his distorted mimicry of Superman, showcasing how a mirror image can be so far from the original in its core values and powers. Wonder Man. Stan Lee's Wonder Man is often seen as Marvel's answer to Superman, though with his own unique twists. With powers like flight, super strength, speed, and enhanced vision, Wonder Man checks many of the Superman boxes. He even has the chiseled, dark hair look of a traditional superhero. However, Wonder Man's origin is a bit more complex. He's had stints with major Marvel teams like the Avengers and West Coast Avengers, and in between saving the world, he's also managed a career in acting and stunt work. Marvel's creation of Wonder Man sparked a lawsuit from DC over the name, as it drew parallels to both Superman and Wonder Woman. Regardless, Wonder Man's character stands as an iconic blend of superpowered heroism and Hollywood glamour. The Caped Wonder on The Tick. The Tick is a satire of the entire superhero genre, and one of the characters it pokes the most fun at is obviously Superman. Enter the Caped Wonder, a character who shares almost every trait of the Man of Steel, right down to the signature hair curl and mild-mannered persona. Known as Clark Oppenheimer in his civilian form, the Caped Wonder works at the Weekly World Planet, a clear parody of the Daily Planet. His heat vision becomes very hot vision, and his X-ray vision is humorously dubbed see-through vision. The Tick humorously explores how absurd superhero conventions actually can be, and the Caped Wonder is a direct jab at Superman's iconic status, complete with hilarious twists on classic powers and tropes. Eventually, the Tick inadvertently exposes the Caped Wonder's true identity by simply breaking his glasses, underscoring the ridiculousness of the classic superhero disguise. These characters, while resembling Superman in power, each offer unique interpretations of heroism, showcasing the versatility of the superhero archetype across different universes. And that's our list of Superman-like characters explained. What are your thoughts? Which one's your favorite? Did we leave one out? Leave a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss these deep dives and strange lore, and stay up to date with related videos. See you in the next one.